Let's come back to Stryver City for a minute. Farai, you're from Stryver City. You're the CEO of this company that runs
Mrs. Earthworm.
Mrs. Earthworm. It's a
Doesn't
family
sound
business.
as good as Mr. President.
They plan it that
You
way.
make more. You've been listening to this conversation going on, Mayor, in Washington. Is it helping you?
No.
What's the connection?
As a business person, I think of two things when I hear this conversation. The first is that the most obvious and necessary reform that we have to make for job creation, for competitiveness, and yes, for a balanced approach, is lower the tax rates and close the loopholes. Lower every rate, close every loophole so that there's no negotiation over it. It would produce revenue, it would help small businesses because the tax code is so complicated they can't get through it. And as a CEO of a relatively large company, I worry about little businesses because they are my source of supplies, of innovation, of employees. They create most of the jobs in the communities in which we operate. So lower the rates, close the loopholes, simplify the code. The other thing I think about is running a business. Imagine that the federal government were a business for a moment and every single department had had its budget increased for almost 50 years. Every single department has had its budget increased every year for almost 50 years. And oh, by the way, no one asks how you spent the money. In fact, we make a habit of spending the money as fast as we can in August so that we use it all up before the fiscal year is over.
Quickly.
A business would go out of business that way. It means there's so much inefficiency in the system.
You know, I'm an assistant principal in Stryver City, and you know,
You were a reporter in Stryver City.
I was just repurposed.
It's all that job retrieval.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly.
Congratulations.
Well, not congratulations, because if you close your plant, I'll probably lose my job. Families are going to move out of town. The entire school system will shrink. And you know, if you look at the trends in public employment, they're really grim. I could earn a lot more money in the private sector if I was as cutthroat as you, but no, I want to educate children. So you know, you got to realize you're hurting people here.
Okay, so hold it.
Nothing would please me more. Nothing would please me more, truly, than being able to keep both of these plants open, both of which are in American cities, as you described the situation.
So clearly,
nothing would please me more. And indeed, I believe a CEO's job is to balance the interests of shareholders, employees, communities.
Well, I was reading in Jim's newspaper.
Things are not going very well in Stryver City.
No, they're not. And I would ask the senators to listen to mayors because the mayors are absolutely the closest to the public. They're in the neighborhoods every single day. And they have a balanced budget, and they have to make decisions every day about how to provide the needed services. But, you know, we started with the austerity in Spain and people rioting in Europe and so forth. Well, those austerity measures push those folks to cross over the brink, right? 24%
I'm glad you raised that
Spain.
because we're going to go back to Europe.
So don't, Washington, make the same mistake with your across-the-board cuts. Don't make the kinds of cuts that hurt people.
Can I just be the NEC director for
You
1
can be
moment?
for 10 seconds.
For 10
because
seconds, I have to say, as the economic advisor now to the president, and hearing these arguments from business about lowering tax rates, these are the kinds of things that, and closing loopholes. These are the kinds of things that I think, in a sense, tend to ignore the issues, which is really when we say closing loopholes, deductions. What that means is you're going to hit middle-income families. Either you're going to hit higher-income families or middle-income families.
All right, hold the thought.
And that's
You're attending to hold the thought
deductions for business.
because
that's what I was talking about.
In
Lower the rates,
that's
close the loopholes.